Hey everyone, it's Lisa Mears here. Thanks for joining me. In today's video, I'll be making a birthday treat box using this fun die set from Pretty Pink Posh. This die set doesn't only have to be used for birthdays. There's so many other occasions that you can use this for because it's just a treat box. So anytime you're wanting to give a treat to someone, you can even put a gift card in here, which is what I'm going to be doing today, but you definitely can use this for so many different occasions. So I am just using my wire cutters to cut all of these inside dies out of the main box die. So there's a candle die, there's also a bow, there's a party hat, and there's a little label die, and just cut those apart, and then you're left with just the individual dies. You can use those dies on your treat box, but you can also use them on cards if you wanted to. So here are all the dies. I wanted to show you what they look like when they're die cut. So you have the large box die. I just die cut it out of some white cardstock, and there's some score lines in there. And then here's the bow die. Look at all the stitching that's on these dies. I love all the detail. So here's the candle. You can see all the stitching that's on the candle, and we have the party hat. The little pom-pom on top is a separate piece, but you can see all the stitching there. And then you also have the label die. You can put a sentiment in there if you wanted to. And what's neat about these dies is that it also, if you look at the negative piece, it also has some stitching all around where it actually cut that die out of the cardstock. So see the stitching along the bow, and then stitching around the party hat and the candle. And then the label die, it doesn't have any stitching left on the cardstock, but if you look closely, it does cut that out of the paper and leave you with a reversed scallop design. So you can use those pieces, for example, on a card to actually make a shaker card. And I'm going to do that today on this treat box. I'm going to use that negative stitching piece, and I'm going to make a little shaker on the front of this box. So I took the large die, I die cut some pattern paper. I love how if you take some pattern paper that's printed on both sides with a pattern, you actually get a double pattern on the inside and on the outside of your box. So the top part of that pink cardstock, that's the front of the box, and I'm just setting the party hat in the middle because that's where I want it to die cut. So I'm just placing it there, and I'm going to hold it down with some mint tape, and I'll run this through my die cutting machine. So take a look at what that looks like. It cuts the party hat out, so you can use that on a card if you wanted to. I'm not going to be using that today. But if you look closely, you can see the stitching on that pink pattern paper. So I have a piece of acetate. I'm just going to flip this treat box over so that I can see the inside of my treat box. I'm just putting some glue along the edge of that cutout where it cut the party hat out of the paper. And I'm putting the acetate on there, and I'm going to hold it down with an acrylic block. Once that is fully dry, I'm going to take out my foam strips, and I'm just going to put some foam right along the edge of that party hat. I'm going to come up around the pom-pom and connect it with the other side. I want to make sure that there are no gaps between that foam tape because I don't want my shaker pieces to fall out. Just to add some stability to the inside of this box, I am going to add some more foam right along the inside edge of where the score lines are. And the reason I'm doing this is because I am going to add a piece of cardstock on top of this because that's what's going to hold the shaker pieces in. So when this front piece sits on the piece of cardstock that I'm going to add, I just want to make sure that it does sit flat and it has some stability. So here is my white cardstock that I die cut with the same treat box die, and I'm just going to use my scissors to cut along all of those score marks, and that will leave me with this middle piece. And that's going to be the backing to keep all of the shaker pieces inside. So we'll come back to that white piece in just a minute. In the meantime, I am going to use these shaker beads from Pretty Pink Posh. These are the Berry Smoothie shaker beads, and I'm putting them right inside of the party hat. Next, I'm going to remove all of the backing from that foam. Once that's removed, I will take that white piece that I cut and I will line it up with the treat box. It's going to line up perfectly. I'm just going to use the scallops as a guide when I'm adhering this. So you can see that that keeps all of those shaker pieces inside. Using that treat box die, I also die cut another piece of that pattern paper. I cut out the middle and I added it to the white piece of cardstock so that I had a pattern on the inside of the box. And unfortunately, I did not have that part on video, so I couldn't show you the whole process there. But you'll be able to see at the end of this video how the white paper was covered up. So in the meantime, I'm going to add a couple of presents to my front of my box, and I'm using the pattern presents stamp set. I stamped out the outline of the presents, and now I'm just stamping the pattern inside of the outline. I'm also stamping these on purple cardstock with some purple ink because I don't want to have to color these. So using the patterns that are part of this set, it just makes it so easy to have some colorful presents that you can use on your cards without having to color. Here I'm just stamping out the bows for the presents and die cutting them. I stamped them onto some colored cardstock and I'm just adding a little bit of shading with a colored pencil. So just using the same color pencil as I have cardstock just to add a little bit of shading to that. I'm stamping out a sentiment from the sentiment strips for birthday stamp set and I'm die cutting that sentiment with the coordinating die. Now that all my stamping is done, I'm going to go ahead and put my presents together. So I'm just adding the bow and the ribbon to those presents. Then I'll add one present on each side of the party hat and my sentiment will go right across the middle of the party hat. I also put a strip of the double-sided adhesive foam on the back of that sentiment just so that it pops up a little bit on that treat box. Now I'm just going to fold the treat box at the score lines because I'm ready to glue this together. I'm actually going to use some double-sided tape instead of glue. You could use glue if you wanted to, but I don't want to have to wait for it to dry, so I'm just using some thin double-sided tape. So I put a strip of tape on the front of each one of the side panels on the back of the box, and then I brought the front panels and then attached them on each side. And then just press the inside of the box really well with your finger, get a good seal on that. And that's how you make a treat box with a shaker element. You can see on the inside of the box that I did put that pattern paper to cover up the white piece that closed in all of those shaker pieces. That way I have a seamless pattern on the inside of my box. Now, of course, if you wanted to keep this more simple, you don't have to do the shaker part. You can just die cut the box, fold it up, and decorate the front. But I wanted to show you how you can use those stitching dies to make a little window where you can put some shaker pieces inside and see that beautiful stitching all around the opening of that party hat. So I just put a gift card in this box, but if you wanted to put little items like little candies or something similar to that, you can do that, and this would be a really nice little gift box. Think of all the ways you can decorate this box just by changing out the pattern paper and the colors and the stamps and dies that you use to decorate it. So I will have links to all the products I used today down in the description box below. So if you're interested in finding out more about those products, take a look at those links below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like videos like this and want to see more, click that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.